Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. All right. Well, I'm coming back because I want to discuss something that the United States is sorely missing. And this is like the main thread that you pull on a sweater and the whole sweater falls apart. I feel like this is the main thread that is being pulled that is causing the United States and the rest of the world to fall apart. This thread being um well, you see the title, and we're going to explore a little bit more on what's really going on within the inner workings of the United States that are causing us to fall by the wayside in such a way that our internal infrastructure is crumbling, and we're seeing it being manifested all across the United States. And it starts in the small, inconvenient ways, and then you begin to see it on a large scale. And we're going to go over some of these things that are taking place in the United States right now. And it's because of a lack of boundaries, a city without walls. And because of this lack of boundaries, we have totally destroyed our structure, and everything is starting to become unorganized. And we're seeing it in work environments. We're seeing a lot more so in work environments than it was before, whenever we had some form of structure and decency, as opposed to now. And so we're just going to explore these things and see why the United States is slowly becoming a city without walls. Now, we look at the family structure. The family structure was the foundation of the community, and by the society as a whole. Because if the family structure is intact, it's just a smaller version of what the world structure is going to be like. You have your hierarchy in the family, which is God as the head, the father after God, mother, and then children alike in their respective ages and positions. And then you take this concept out into the community, which you have the heads of the community, which are the people who are representation for everyone who's gathered in that neighborhood to make a collective community. And they're the ones who speak to the representatives of the city. And so you go forth and you build this constructs such as this, and the community goes out into the city, city to state, state to federal, and so forth and so on. And so within this construct, you've seen a total breakdown in the nucleus, which is the family. And this is starting to cause a breakdown in the whole entire structure as a whole. Because of the instability of the family, you have the instability of the individuals that come from that family, whether it be the fathers, whether it be the mothers, whether it be the children who are affected by the lack of a father or mother, or a good father or mother, or those who were in a household where the father and mother were present but they were toxic, and they passed on these toxic traits to their children to take on out into the world. Now you have a family structure that has been totally crippled from the inside, and you're sending these mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and often physically crippled people out into the world to try to contribute to our society, and not only keep it running, but to push it forward into the next progression of where we're supposed to be going. So now you have a generation of children who are going out into the world with all of these traumas and all of these issues because of the lack of boundaries in the household. I did a story earlier, which really sparked this whole need for a conversation in me. And I was talking about Kodak Black and his situation. And I should have saved it just for this specific video. But in that moment, I had to speak about it while it was on my mind and on my heart to do so and give it proper justice then. But the boundaries that are lacking in the typical American family are not spoken about, but really need to be addressed. And I feel that I do have some bit of authority to speak in this area for the simple fact that when I got out of the military, one of the first jobs that I had for my first 3 to 4 years out was working with troubled youth. And in working with these troubled youth, I often had to work with their family as well, their parents who brought them into the program. I had to work with them in tandem to get a better outcome with their child, to have a better understanding of what type of background the child come from and the things that the child's been through, so forth and so on. And a lot of times you would see that the parents have unresolved issues of their own that are direct link to what is affecting their children. And so we see this dysfunction in the family, and this dysfunction is causing this child to act out in certain ways and ultimately changing and shaping the course of their life to go a route that it don't need to go. And this is what is going out into the world. So now you have these broken children who have been in these programs to at least they had an opportunity to have someone to confront their parents and be a mediator between them and their parents so that they can have that open line of communication with them and feel like they're being heard. But not all families can afford to have that type of mediation. And these are things that you have to seek within your own family, and someone in the family has to have the the mind or the wisdom to see that this is what is necessary to keep your family together and to keep the family structure intact. And if we're not doing that, then we're doing ourselves a great disservice, but not just ourselves personally, but as a whole society, because these broken people are going out onto jobs where they have to concentrate, and a lot of people's safety and life is often in these people's hands. And so people who have such big responsibilities should have an environment to where they don't have so much stress and things like that that could potentially distract them and keep them from doing the job that they're supposed to do. So these things connect with each other, and we're seeing the outcome of that in our society because of the crumbling of our infrastructure. The job, the workforce is in total shambles. You know, we look right now, we have people who don't want to work. Why is that? Because they're given an option to sit at home and collect money. Is this going to build our economy? They don't care about that. They care about the money in the moment because this is what our society has conditioned people to want and to desire, to be able to sit home and just draw money and not have to do anything. This is what's always made to look tempting in the eyes of most people. This is what our movies and our TV shows and media portrays as being the good life. And so if you can sit back and live the good life on the government's dime, then of course there you're going to have those people who's going to take advantage of that opportunity. But in the while, it's going to be hurting our markets. It's going to cause our economic value to drop, and all of these things. But that's not what they care, because they're thinking in the moment, because they've been conditioned by this society that everything has to come now. Why wait? You can have it now. And so it's pretty much our society's conditioning coming back to bite them in the butt. That's exactly what we're seeing is the results of the miseducation that our society is pushing to the people. And you want to keep the people dumbed down in order for you to keep a certain level of control over the people. But at the same time, you have to also take into consideration the other things that are going to come along with you dumbing down the people intentionally. So now that we see these things and we see the infrastructure falling because we've been done a great disservice, what shall we do? We now have to take it upon ourselves to do what is necessary to keep our society intact and to keep our progression going. Because if you look at the other countries around us, there's a whole, I'll say, going on a 6 year gap to where we as the United States have fallen behind the rest of the world as far as growth and progression, for the simple fact of the political administrations that we've had to endure over this time frame, and that's I'm including the Trump and the Biden era, because both of these political time frames are very shaky. They're also bringing out a lot of the unstable things that are going on within our government, and this is what's really hyped up the speed on the crumble of our infrastructure, is because now it's being revealed that our infrastructure going all the way to the top of this country has been dysfunctional to such a degree that it can't be hidden anymore. It's no longer something that they can keep um, at a certain level of secret security. Now all of everything that these presidents and these cabinet members and their whole entire administration does is in real time, right there on camera. Somebody's always there to record what's going on with these people. And so now we see the real dysfunction in our country and in our Congress, and we truly see how juvenile a lot of these people are and how ridiculous and corrupt they are. We see this in real time now. This is not just a conspiracy theory that someone stringing together along a bunch of stories and came to a conclusion. No, these are recorded, documented stories and reports that we can go back and watch with our very own eyes and hear with our very own ears and see what these people are trying to do. And so now the things are crumbling because people are saying, no, I will not stand for that. But then you have people on the other side who says, I'm going to keep my false reality intact no matter what. So I will continue to perpetuate this lie for the sake of our false reality that keeps us feeling comfortable and sleeping at night. This is a city without walls. We have no boundaries in the United States, and so when we see the horrible acts that take place, and we say, well, how could a person even think to do something like this? We don't have to look far. We can look right at our government. We can look right at our entertainment industry. We can look right at everybody that we seem to look up to or hold at a high esteem. They participate in these very things, and this is where they come from. And so to see somebody out exercising that on their own, it just, you know, it just says a lot about the environment that they come from, so this is where our country is. We have no boundaries. And so when somebody does something that goes outside of the societal norms, it used to be something that would surprise us. It used to be something that would shock us, but now nothing shocks us at all because everything is outside of what our societal norms used to be. The boundaries have been destroyed. And there's another place that often broadens its boundaries in order for mankind, and that's Sheol, hell. There's a verse that says that hell is broadening its borders to complement or accommodate the amount of men that will be going into Sheol. And so, as we broaden those borders and we broaden the borders of our depravity and our just the sickening acts that we commit in this world, just understand the damage that is really doing. And when you ask those questions, well, where is God in this and why would God allow this? Don't blame it on God. Please blame it on your own desires and your own lust. That's where it comes from. But that's that's on you and your God to deal with. This is your boy D Mac. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.